Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're taking a look at Wave 2 of Unlock.
And we're going to try to do this spoiler-free, unlike the playthrough that me and Wes did. If you watched that, then you've been spoiled already.
Well, spoiler-free about the game.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. When we did Wave 1 review, we did this little joke about how we're going to spoil some movies, and we thought it was funny, so we're going to do it again.
You've been on Earth the whole time.
He escaped by tunneling through the wall.
They both died in the war. The happy ending is just a book written by the little girl.
You aren't being haunted by the ghosts. You are the ghosts.
Those aren't flashbacks, they're flash forwards.
That's not really your daughter.
That is your daughter.
He never left the bank.
Those aren't your grandparents. They're escaped mental patients.
Your wife was never kidnapped. She faked it to get back at you.
Your friends are in a cult. The dinner is a mass suicide.
Everyone on the train killed him together.
He never really killed those people, or maybe he did. You don't really know.
It's hard to tell.
Soylent Green is made from people.
The goat that the twins are playing with is actually the devil.
The footage you're watching isn't live. Your son's been in the room with you the whole time.
The footage you're watching isn't live. The robbers are posing as the SWAT team.
You're not investigating the mental hospital. You're a patient.
There is no missing girl. They lured you there to kill you.
Your wife's head. That's what's in the box.
His mother's been dead for 10 years. He dresses up as her and does the killings himself.
That character that you think is a woman is actually a man. And there's really 3 correct answers for this. Or technically 5, but I don't consider Tootsie or Mrs. Doubtfire to be one because it's not a spoiler because you know that the whole time.
Man, this is the longest intro ever.
I hope you stuck around for the review, because here it is.
Yeah. If you actually know any of the titles of those movies, go ahead and put them in the comments down below. We'll see how good you are.
You'll get bonus points and stars.
Yeah, otherwise you'll just get the regular points and stars that you were allotted.
Yeah, and we'll tell you how to cash them in later.
So it's kind of hard to review unlocks in general because we want to be spoiler free. Ignore the stuff we just said before all that. But, we don't want to give too much away about the game because it's all just a big puzzle. So, what can we say when the whole game is you're supposed to figure out as we go? And then in addition to that, we've already reviewed Wave 1. You should watch that one in the card up here. And, we can only say what's different, but the things that are different are spoilers. So it's kind of hard. What do we say?
Well, the biggest difference is that there's a 1 out of 3 in terms of complexity, right? Is that what you were going to say?
That, and they changed some of the things in the app. The puzzles are a little different.
The machines, the green ones.
Yeah, exactly. Those actually, instead of matching up things on the cards, it's okay, I have this machine, let me see how to work this machine, and it opens up in the app and you have to connect things in there and stuff instead of trying to figure it out on the card.
It's a nice way to integrate the app a little bit more because up until then it was just a number puncher. All you did was either refer to it for clues or punch in codes.
Yeah.
And it did. I think it worked really nice. It was nice to have one more thing to go back to. And it did let them, it gave them another way to make puzzles. It's another thing to give you answers other than just, because besides that, like you said, it's just, this puzzle will give you a number.
And it was a little clunky in Wave 1 where the puzzles would have modifiers on it. It would have +4, +5.
You can see all of them right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, and really the thing is when showing a new player, when I'm sitting down with them, sometimes people will look at it and be like, what is that? It's well, okay, well, look. It's what card are you, when you add these together, it gives you a card or, something like that.
They still had that in this one.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is specifically the machines.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Instead of saying, oh well, how does this math work out? What are we trying to get with this number? It's just, make this path work or something, and then okay, now it tells us what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Which does alleviate because when it's just adding numbers together, a lot of times oh, is it these two? Nope, that's over 100, and none of these cards have 3 digits on them.
That's true. That's true. You can game the system a little bit. But you could game the system a little bit. Here you can't.
And you can, but it's
not with
less
machines.
prevalent.
Yeah.
Not with machines.
That's it.
So they're ranked 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Right?
So in Wave 1 it was 2, 2, 3. So this is their difficulty is out of 3, which is a little lame. Come on.
Yeah.
How many things do you rank out of 3? Even when people say 1 out of 5, and was come on, just use the 10 scale that everybody uses.
Yeah, and that might expand later on though. They may have a 4.
Or they're just gonna have.
I will say that I don't think that lines up. I think that the Nautilus Traps is way harder than Toe Nipple's Treasure.
Yeah, for sure. This one.
Tuna pals?
Toe Nipple.
Toe Nipple.
Toe nipple.
That's how we read it. That's.
Well,
For
and
education.
actually, I'm really surprised. So I want to talk about the fact that this was 1 out of 3. I was gonna say was when we played it, we didn't find it to be that much easier than not this 2, but like the 2s that came in wave 1. But then you guys, when you did you guys did it in like 30 minutes or less. I was like, yeah. Well, we probably did it in 45 minutes, which is what we did for the 2s anyways. Like we either do it in a decent amount below the hour because we've hit the penalty enough that we do it in like 45 minutes
I'm
or so,
wondering if
or
the
we do it way over an
clues-
hour.
I'm wondering if the clues in this one make this one slightly easier. Like if you were to,
Did you have
We
to
used
get
one
clues?
clue.
but like if you were to utilize more clues in this one versus the old 2s, were those clues not as giving you
That
as
might
much
be.
information?
And I think that the ranking is so variable because in all 6 that I've played, it really does come down to who's in your group.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
depending on who is with you, changes the
Smart
difficulty
people.
drastically. Like me and Aaron, the way our brains worked, may have just clicked with this one really well, whereas Tom's group clicked a lot better on one of the other ones.
And actually, part of it was because we had one guy, Will, who just felt the need, not like, he wanted to do it all himself, but like when he figured something out or he felt like he figured something out, instead of explaining it, he'd just be like, yeah, I'm just, I think it's this. I'm like, okay, but why? And it's not even so much that, like we did get stumped on like one of the very first, like I showed you, like one of like the very first, like, what do you call them, levels, or when you flip over
When
the
you
card?
open the first room.
the first room.
Yeah, so the first room brought you to, like, the first thing that you find in the first room that brings you to the whatever. I got kind of stumped on that. Our group kind of did, where you guys didn't. But also, sometimes, like you said, with someone in your group, somebody else can kind of, like, lead you down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Can be like, ooh, well, you're supposed to put this in this way. And we're like, oh, that makes sense, when really it's
And then
not
you
right.
do it and press the penalty
Yeah,
button.
and, like,
right?
you base your information off that and try and fit it in that way, and it's just doesn't work.
I do feel like the House on the Hill fit really well with Wave 1. I feel like it could, like, besides the fact that there were some machines in it, there wasn't a lot of differences in it other than maybe this one's a little bit easier for a lot of groups. I feel like with these 2 games, though, they really did do a lot of really cool, unique things. I don't think it's a spoiler to say in this one, your time is a lot less, and as you're because you're underwater, and you have to continue to find oxygen as you go. And there's hidden things in it, not just like numbers add up, and that's a lot of times you're trying to find the oxygen around. I don't think it's too spoilery. I'm sorry if it was. So we got like trashed on this one because we just ran out of air and we couldn't find more oxygen. And whereas this one, like, there was cool new mechanics, this one was so hard.
I think so. The fun I had would be not very fun because I got crushed by the game. I had a lot of fun. I had the most fun.
Oh.
It could have been the group. It could have been the fact that the parrot, we could not understand him because the app talks to
We
you.
played this one together, right?
Yeah.
It was me, you, and Josh, and Emily?
And Emily, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just making
And
sure.
it's
Yeah, I was totally not invited.
screw this guy. Also, the last puzzle is the reason I love the game the most, and you'll find out when you play the last puzzle. If you really want to know and you're not going to play it, then find
Google
us.
it.
and-
Email us
Yeah.
and we'll send you a picture because I have that.
We'll send you a picture of something.
Yeah, I will definitely say the experience of this one was the best, and I feel like the story of this one was the best. I feel like this is not a game that like I've ever really cared about the story in the previous games we played, whereas this one, like, the story and the backstories and everything really came together to make this the best experience, not just the most fun puzzles.
I agree with you. I usually tend not to care about stories in games too much, but like, you start in this one. You start off again. I don't think it's a spoiler because it's right how you start off. You start off like in a jail cell in a piratey themed thing, and you try and get out and figure out who this person is and do blah blah blah. And like that was kind of cool. Like like I'm hearing details of the story and like wanting to know how those help us out with the clues. And some of these other ones, they'll give you like details of a story, and I'm like, I don't think that's really going to end up being relevant.
And the other thing with this one is the fact that there's the one puzzle kind of towards the end that it's not just solve it, it's that you need multiple clues to solve it. So you go off and do this to get this clue and bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go off and do this and get this clue and bring it back. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's the only one where you keep going out and then coming back to the same thing and going back out and then coming back to the same thing.
It's not as linear.
This one was so good. Well done on this one. They're all good. They're all good. But
All
this
of
one,
them, both of them.
and I'm not gonna say start with this one though.
No, start with this one.
Start with that one.
Start with wave 1.
Or Wave 1.
No, I would still say start with this one over Wave 1.
Yeah,
Why not? First of all, we keep calling them Wave 1 and 2. That's not what they're actually called. It's Escape Adventures for the first one, Mystery Adventures for the second one. The third one's Secret Adventures. I just call them Wave 1 and 2 so you know which order they came out in. But they are in no way like congruent from one to the other. So you can play any of these regardless of which way they came out in.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend starting with this one in general.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's the other ones to go to. If you love all of them, I'm not going to say don't do this one. Just know that this one is really hard and really frustrating.
But there is something to be said about the fact that the time thing is just your score and not so like the issue he has was the time thing, and I agree that was like that put the pressure on. Yeah, but like okay, Exit doesn't do timed where you have an hour and a time clock and it ticks down. It does where it just times you as you go, and however long it takes you, you have like how long it took you, how many clues you needed, how many people you have, and that gives you your score. So you're focused less in Exit on being fast and more on just enjoying the puzzles. So if you care a little bit less about the time issue and just try to enjoy the puzzles and have fun with it.
Tough puzzles.
Sure, they are tough puzzles, but I don't want you to think that this one is so hard just because of the puzzles. You feel most of the pressure because of the time. But if for whatever reason you're okay with not really worrying about that and you want to just have fun and experience it, then this one isn't as...
Yeah, it's not as bad. And I think if I did it again, knowing what I know now, I may have enjoyed it a little bit more.
Knowing what you know now.
I would need it.
I would get it like that.
So when I was first playing it, I'd never had the time go to 0. I'd always finished before then. So I was really worried that like time would go to 0 and it's like, you're done, game over, you lose. It rolls over though and it says, okay, well you went 30 minutes over your time, but you can still finish, you still get your score, and I don't care about the scores really. But, because again, you're not going to go back and do it again to try to get a better score. No, but you can still finish the game. So yeah, if you ignore the timer, or if you go for the timer if you want the challenge, but if you're not doing well, forget it, then this is not bad.
No, it's definitely based on the experience you're having with the group you're having. Because I think the game night that I chose to play that with my neighbors and Rachel, like... they just weren't into it that night. Like we played this one, or we played one of the other ones, and they were fine with it. And that night, like maybe because I was like, guys, we gotta figure this out. They're like, no, I'm not into it anymore.
And I've heard that from a couple people that like, oh, we played this one, it was really great, and we played this one, and it just. So like you have
not
to
specifically about this, but just the fact.
No,
that
just like in general, like we played this, and like we played this one, but like I brought my 8-year-old kid with me, and so he would have been fine with this one, but the next one we played was harder, and I didn't realize it. So like pay attention to those levels if you consider this a 3 when you're deciding which one to play with what group you're playing with.
Kind of funny how we started out saying I don't really know if we're going to be able to talk too much about this, but I feel like we said a lot right there.
Yeah, not a good bit without giving anything away.
Yeah. Unscripted, non-spoilers.
There we go.
So if you couldn't tell, we definitely had a lot of fun playing these games. You may want to pick these up. So if that's the case, there are links in the description below, and you should get yourself a copy.
Hey, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never
be bored.
Sup, nerds? I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're taking a look at Wave 2 of Unlock. I thought that's where you were going to jump in. Okay.
I was going to start saying, you've been on Earth the whole time.
So